Good evening and good evening. Welcome to another episode of the Upfront Mind, Body, and Soul podcast, where I am your host, Dr. Michelle Bolden Hammond. And listen, tonight, since we're in Black History Month, I thought it would be great to come up with a something to talk about since we've been seeing a lot about births and different things like that. And as you all know, that I am a doula, but I also want to talk about the root cause behind all of this. So tonight we have me talking about my role, what I do as a doula, but I also want to give out some history because I do believe that it's very important that we give out the history. I know we're hearing a lot about doulas now and how important their role is as being a doula. So before we get started, I actually want to, I'm always about doing the grounding. I'm all about doing the getting the so you can really get the understanding clarity that you need. But, with this, before there were hospitals, before there are charts and codes, birth happened in the community. And there was this one special person of the community, or the elders would come together and help the person who is about to deliver. And it happened with the hands that, like ours, our voices that sounded like ours, the wisdom passed down without textbooks. And I know we have a lot of stuff going on with, licensing and all that kind of thing. But you think about it, birth and the birth rates were awesome during that time. But today, we're going to take our time to honor our ancestors through how we were birthed. So as we do that, I want you to take one listening breath in with me. And for those who were birthed before us. So tonight's segment will be called The Historical Root, Birth as an Ancestral Knowledge. So for Black communities, and I'm going to be saying it, Black communities, birth was never just medical. Let's get that. It was not just medical. It was a cultural, spiritual, and communal. Listen at that. Cultural, spiritual, and communal. African American dysphoria, which we see a lot of, birth was centered around those things. One, herbal knowledge, and I'll get into that a little bit later as we move into that. Touch and massage, prayer, song, rhythm, and storytelling. Postpartum confinement and rest, not compared to today, that 6-week checkup, you're going back to work. However, the enslaved Black midwives were the backbones for the care of those birthed in the U.S. And there's some special, I'm going to give you some places where you can go and, get the knowledge. But however, their knowledge was later appropriated, regulated, and erased. But for today, we're simply to bring it back. Medicine professionalized and excluded Black women. Now, this is a key truth. Modern obstetrics exits in part because of Black women's bodies in labor, often without consent or credit. So those were some things that were going on during that time. So why does this history matters today? Well, let's see. Have you been looking at the news lately? Have you been seeing what's happening in the birth rooms lately? Have you seen the disappropriation of things that's happening medically to people of color? Do we look at the maternal death rates? Are we looking at all of those things? Again, this is why it is important. This is not old history. This is what's happening right now, right? Black women are 3 to 4 times more likely to experience maternal complications. Many report not being believed. You look at that young lady who was sitting in that chair, or that one that was sent home and later had her baby in the car. Pain being dismissed, that comes from being culturally private, that we people of color can take on much pain. Cultural needs being ignored. So how, as a doula, how does a doula can bridge the gap by these things? Again, we can restore trust. We can advocate in clinical practices and bring the cultural. That's why when I do a birth plan with some of my clients, there is a way. I would like to say, what do you want prayer? What is your cultural practices? Different things as like that. So this is not nostalgia. It is not. Okay? It's not nostalgia. It's survival, and it's about your dignity. All right. So I am going to get around to give you a story. I'm going to give you a story. And here it is. Listen to me carefully. This was a time when birth didn't happen behind closed doors or whispered in hallways. When a woman went into labor, the village shifted, not in panic, but in preparation. The elders gathered herbs. The aunties warmed the water. The children were ushered away with songs, not fear. Birth was not private, it was protected. The midwife wasn't rushing a clock, she was reading a body. Drums or humming kept rhythm with breath. Food simmered long before the baby arrived. And when the child was born, it wasn't just a mother who emerged. It was a new role, a new lineage, a new responsibility shared by all. Taking a breath on that. The village didn't ask, how fast was the labor? They asked, is the mother whole? Is her spirit settled? This is what we lost when birth became isolated. And that is what the role of doulas, as myself, are helping us to remember. So I just gave you that little bit of a story, right? I can remember hearing about the stories as I was growing up from some elders who said after birth, we didn't rush back to life. Life came to us. She talked about the warm soups, quiet rooms, and women who watched over her while she rested and she healed. So tonight, as a listener, if you're listening to this, I'm going to ask you, what stories have you heard about birth in your family? Write it down in the chat or comment. Were there rituals? Were there foods, prayers, and rules after birth? And what wisdom do you want us to bring back? Right? So in the beginning, as like I said, I had to actually do some education, and that's why I'm doing this tonight, because I heard from one time somebody had said to me, oh, that doula, that's about chanting, that's about things. But if you just listen from that story that I just gave, that's not what it is at all. So again, we bridge the gaps. And to my doula ladies out there, keep doing the work. We are being heard. We are being seen. Today's Black doulas are not new. They're only a continuation. Modern practices that are rooted into our ancestral care, which, and this is what we do. So I need to get that out. Breath work and grounding. And we will do an exercise. aromatherapy and herbal teas, emotional witnessing and affirmations, birth plans that honor spiritual and cultural practices, and postpartum care, which is focused on rest, nourishment, and mental health. That's what we do. We are not replacing medication. We are just restoring what medicine forgot: humanity, culture, and presence. Let me say that again: humanity, culture, and presence. So we're going to take a quick break and we're going to be right back to hear more on this segment of the role of the doula and how important it is to us today and in this realm of work that we do. So we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. Welcome back. I am your host, Dr. Michelle Bolden Hammond, and here tonight we're talking about the ancestral root, getting the knowledge about what the role of a doula is and how we may be able to assist you who are in the plans of birthing, and just bringing back the culture. And just because this is our Black History Month, I think it's good time to talk about what it is. All right, as I said before, doulas are not replacing medicine. We're actually helping with humanity, culture, and presence. So if you want to know more about this subject and where you can find some information, I will give you a few resources tonight. One, research medical apartheid, understanding the historical exploitation of how Black bodies were in medicine. There's several cases. Also read Babies Don't Come with Instructions. It's a cultural birth perspective, that is. Documentaries, which you're seeing a few of them about Black midwives and community births that were taking place present back then. Because again, remember, we people of color couldn't be in the hospitals, right? Learn from your history, from your wisdom keepers. Your wisdom keeper, those elders hold the lineage, they hold the information. And community-based doulas, such as myself and other people, midwifery organizations can help out. I will give a shout out to the Maternal Wellness, the Village in Easton, and I also will give out Cocoa Black Life. They also are doula certified to help you along. Remind you also that your elders, they are the living libraries. So respect our elders because they all have the information that we need today. All right. So this is just a short segment tonight. I just wanted to share a little bit of information on doulas because I think there's been some misconceptions that has helped all the way. So my plan for you tonight, those who may catch the replay, those who may see this tonight, there are some steps that I want you to take from this. I want you to share this episode with a mother, a daughter, a sister, or a future present mother, or maybe go back to asking one of those elders, your grandma. Follow and support Black doulas and birth workers. Advocate for them. There's a big push that needs to be. It's a call that I'm putting out. Journal one ancestral practice you want to reclaim. Journal one ancestral practice that you want to reclaim. I know for my present birth that I actually did some aromatherapy and some massage um, for her for the help with pain. And the message is the birth wisdom I want to bring back is, what is the message tonight? What is the birth that you want to bring back? What is that? And as I said, we're going to get grounded. We're going to be comfortable in a position, making this affirmation about what is not being believed, what is the truth when it comes down to having doulas as your birth workers. So when I close out tonight it is myself in my role as a doula. I am not birthing alone. I'm bringing forth a village. I am not birthing with memory, but with a lineage, with the care of love. And right now, right here, right there has been a pathway of essential power. So let's say that together again, as we are not birthing alone, to my fellow doulas, or for those who have helped your loved one or at past in passing through the birth journey. We are birthing with memory, with lineage, and with love. And that's right here. And that is using your ancestral power to formulate the journey of life through every transition that has been. So again, this segment tonight is short, but also it has given you some good information on what was needed, what will be needed for us as people who are practicing as doulas. The information, if you're looking for doulas, that is something that I can help you with. I am one that is certified through several insurances as a provider. Again, I give you the good care that you need. So again, I appreciate every one of you. I appreciate for you guys sharing this. I appreciate the message. And again, live your life as you learn to live life as you lead, and believe and trust in yourself. So, as I always say, if no one has told you that you are loved, just know that you are loved here at the Upfront Mind, Body, and Soul, where I'm your host, Dr. Michelle Bolden Hammond. Until next week, talk to you soon.